Welcome back to Beyond Variance X-Wing Analysis. Big shout out to this game, responsible by Nickel City X-Wing. A lot of replays, a lot of games you can watch. Check them out. And this specific video is from Let the Wookiee Win on YouTube. Be sure to check him out. Teddy is basically playing the same list I'm playing, so we're going to be doing a lot of analyses of how to actually fly these aces and arcs correctly. But without further ado, let's begin. On the Separatist side, playing 4 aces, we have Jango Fett with Slave 1 title, Contraband Cybernetics Illicit, Proton Bombs, Count Dooku Composure. Then for Dirge we have Proton Cannons, Deadeye Shot. Cad Bane we have Xandu Blood Title, Proton Rockets, Synced Laser Cannons, Deadeye Shot. And then lastly but not least, General Grievous with Soulless 1, Impervium Plating. On the Republic side, with Anakin with Predator Brilliant Evasion. Then you have Obi-Wan with Predator Brilliant Evasion Patience. Then you have Jag Standard Loadout. Then you have Wolf with Synchronized Console and R4 Astromech. And then Plo with Patience, Compassion, and Calibrated Laser Targeting. Deployment. Looking at the asteroids, I'm going to try to avoid placing asteroids center and bottom like the plague. Because one thing I've been doing all game, or every single game, is place an asteroid directly above the middle objective. And I think that just blocks my Arc 170s for no reason, to be honest. And the more we watch Teddy, you're going to see this deployment of these Ectuses put side to side, and I'm pretty sure there's other examples of the Ectuses being placed in this manner. But also, if we look at an every game example, notice how the arcs are placed directly behind the asteroids. This sets up a perfectly avoiding them with 2 bank, and then you can do like 3 straight and do everything you need to do. So no crazy too hard again, because obviously if Jag was to do that from this middle asteroid position, it'd be too awkward. So to simply cure it, you just got to do a 2 hard and then a 1 bank to the left. And Plo placed on the side, curved a little bit. But we're definitely going to be paying attention to this Ectus placement. And naturally, going to constantly see the situation where if the Ectuses are facing on the opposite side, firepower they just can't deal with, like way more points and then way more health, shields, etc. So they'll be doing some different routes. And you're going to also see them separate. But I think it's important to get them close together at the start so you have that range-free option. And then you have General Grievous on the side. And it's all going to be very simple. They're all going to try and get to the middle and get some decent shots off, which I think in this match we're going to see a really good first engagement by the Galactic Republic. Pay attention to the range 1 ruler being used to calculate the perfect distances for the Ectuses. And also take note of the range 3 ruler being used just as the deployment line vertically. Separatists win the initiative. Jag goes 2 bank and takes a focus. Cad Bane goes 2 bank and takes a cloak for a stress. General Grievous went 3 straight, then barrels to the right. Wolf does 2 bank and takes a focus. Dirge goes 2 straight and takes a focus. Plo went 5 straight, then spends a force to boost forward, then barrel rolls to the right. Obi-Wan does 2 bank, then boosts forward with his action. Jango goes 2 straight and takes a focus. Anakin goes 2 bank, then boosts forward. Round 1 conclusion. Really good play patterns by the ARC, by the Ectuses. Very interesting with Plo possibly getting a turnaround if he survives the engagement. I'm only imagining possible other play patterns they will do. Surprised by Jango not going 3 straight and boosting and stuff. Definitely don't think the Ectuses are going to be taking the fight anytime soon. Although Anakin is open to do a hard left and try and fight it and arc dodge, etc. But the real one that's in danger is this General Grievous. Simple one bank, massive damage possibility from range 3 shots. And of course Plo is going to be chasing down General Grievous if he runs away. So this is kind of the idea of the play pattern. You go fast, you get murdered by the arcs. You run away from the fight, you get murdered by Plo. Really good first engagement pattern against a single ship. System phase, Cad Bane decloaks to the right. Obi-Wan also boosts to the left, spending a force. Anakin spends a force to barrel to the right. Jag does a 1 bank to the left and takes a focus. Cad Bane goes 4 straight blue, clearing the stress, then takes a focus linked into stress barrel roll on the right, lining up a bullseye on Obi-Wan. General Grievous did a 2 hard to the right, then boost focus to the left, gaining a stress. Wolf does a 1 bank and takes a focus. Dirge does 1 bank and then takes a target lock onto a rock. Plo did a 3 straight, then barrels to the left, spending a force, then boosts to the left, lining up bullseye and getting nice range 1. Obi-Wan did 3 bank and simply takes an evade. Jango went 4 straight, then boosts to the left. Anakin went 1 hard and then takes an evade. Round 2 shooting. General Grievous and Obi-Wan were the only ones to take damage. General Grievous is on 3 health with a blinded pilot as the crit, can no longer boost or barrel roll. And then Obi-Wan got 1 crit onto him, which is a direct hit, put him on 1 health. Very interesting round, man. First engagement and the arcs have taken no damage by Obi-Wan. And we done absolutely incredible damage to a ship that can live all game very easily. So thinking of the next players, the obvious target is General Grievous, right? We also have to think about what we're setting up with Obi-Wan. So I think we're looking at system phase boost, either 4K or Talon roll. 4K actually gets you shots in. But I'm going to say spoilers, Obi-Wan actually manages to self-bump and die. So maybe the 4K should have been the option. But still, decent pattern, and I say that a lot, but a decent one to set up the turnaround. And an interesting scenario, which I had this in my self-analysis, is Anakin turning in. Already covered it. Initiative 6, turning in is always going to be beneficial when you're versus someone with lower initiative, right? But using my brainage, if Anakin loses initiative, then he's gonna turn into yeah, Django's gonna bump and not get anything going. And if he wins initiative, he's gonna turn in, but the bump is still gonna happen. So this is kind of like a decent angle. The problem with medium bases when it comes to turning in. A crazy play from Django would be go 3 straight and get a range 1 attack in. And maybe set up with the rogue classes to pounce. But that might just be too much overcommitment. Let us see. The Republic has half health of 4-point ship for 2 points, and the Separatists have half health of 4-point ship for 2 points. The ships being General Grievous and Obi-Wan. Both players are within range 2 of the center. They both score a point. Score is 3-3. The Republic win the initiative. Obi-Wan spends a force and boosts to the left in the system phase. Django drops a proton bomb behind him. Jag does a 1 bank and takes a focus. Wolf does a 2 hard and takes a focus. General Grievous does 2 straight, bumps into Obi-Wan for a stress focus. Cad Bane does a 1 bank, clearing his stress and taking a focus. Obi-Wan does a purple 2 Talon, then barrel rolls to the left, lining up the bullseye on General Grievous. Plo did a 1 bank but is not taking a stress focus. Dirge did 2 straight and takes a focus. Anakin did a 1 hard, taking an evade. Django did a 1 bank to the left, taking a stress focus. Engagement phase, Django is the only one to get hit by his own bomb, taking a crit onto his shield. General Grievous barely survives on 1 health. Cad Bane also 1 health, which is beyond half points for 2 points. And then on the Republic side, Jag has taken 4 damage, with one of those damages to the hull being a crit, which is a weapons failure. Round 3 conclusion. Extremely unlucky that Obi-Wan extremely modified shot and Plo shot was not able to initiative kill General Grievous. Very painful to get that range 1 attack off, but we're going to see in the game it doesn't hurt too much. Because spoiler alert, the arcs live. So keep that in mind. You could make the argument that maybe Anakin could go a bit faster, but against a 1 bank, range 1 Django ability, it's going to be way too rough for you. Plus you have to like think about the Dirge shot going into, so this is just like smooth playing from Anakin. Anakin did manage to get a damage through on Cad Bane as well. But honestly looks solid so far. Obi-Wan just has to find a way to not self-bump, and it's all quite good. Arc 170 is coming in. Beautiful stuff. Both players are within the center for a point each. Cad Bane has been halved for 2 points. Score is 6-4. Republic win the initiative. Jag goes 1 straight, bumping into Cad Bane, taking a stress focus. Cad Bane goes 4 straight and takes a focus stress barrel to the right. General Grievous goes 1 hard unable to perform actions because he's triple stressed. Wolf goes one straight and takes a focus. Dirge goes one bank and takes a focus. Wrong order for the Republic. Plo goes one bank, spending a force for an evade. Obi-Wan bumps into Plo and rolls a success and dies. Jango does a one bank, but bumps onto Anakin for stress focus. Anakin does a two straight and takes an evade. Anakin kills General Grievous with the bullseye. Dirge shoots a proton cannon bullseye into Plo, unable to spend his evade, but still only takes one damage on the shield. Dirge goes down to 4 whole left with the arc shooting, and I feel like this Jango Fett is not using Count Dooku ability, so no damage. Round 4 conclusion. Jango's not able to get any value for his points, but doesn't hurt much considering he's worth 8 and getting half means 4. So if he can worm his way in eventually, it's going to be valuable. But the big blunder that we've all seen is the Obi-Wan. If he just did like something like a 2 hard and played for the escape and not the bump, that would have been better. But if he chose Obi-Wan to go first instead of Plo, probably wouldn't have died. Well, 100% wouldn't die to a self bump. But it's still quite bad of a situation. Probably just wants to be like 5 straight out of there. Opportunity to chase, that kind of thing. This game is going to be a main tell of how good can Jango carry this match, and I think honestly it's very possible. So both players are within the center, and both 4-point ships have gotten destroyed for a further 2-point ships, the ships being General Grievous and Obi-Wan. Score is 9-7. Republic win the initiative. Jag does a 2 hard using R4 to make it blue. Cad Bane does a 2 straight, then does a focus, boost stress to the left. Wolf does a 4K, gaining a stress. Dirge does a 2 Talon. Plo goes 2 bank to the left and takes a focus. Jango does a 3 bank, and the Arc 170 has blocked him onto a gas cloud. Anakin does a 2 bank, bumping onto Dirge, but does not take a stress focus. A massive winning engagement by the Republic, taking no damage, and Dirge is down to 2 health. Round 5 conclusion. Very obvious that Jango is the one that has to carry this match. Both of his rogue classes are on 1 shot away kind of damage and need to keep away as much as possible. There's multiple ships though to be half pointed, such as the aces, right? Just have to go for one. Probably the most obvious choice is Jag. Try and get half points there. But it was very upsetting levels of damage. Definitely think if Jango did 1 bank, it's impossible to get bumped. And even if he did a 3 bank and it just bumps onto Anakin, that's not a blue maneuver. I mean, you're not going to get like a true proc of Jango's ability. which means one bank's even better. And yeah, you're not even going to be able to threaten Anakin. Although in this scenario, actually, you would be able to get a range one, possibly. But I still think one bank is the best. But this is going to be a true showcase of oversending how many ships you need to kill one target on one health. You can definitely lose games by committing too much to one health ships. So let us see. Don't think we can abandon these arcs to Jango. Republic gets a point from being in the center, 2 points from Dirge being beyond half for 12 points, and Separatist simply gains a 1 point from the center. Score is 12-8. Separatists win the initiative. Jag does a 4k, gaining a stress. Cad Bane does a 1 bank blue, taking a stressful cloak as the action. Wolf does a 1 straight, bumping into Dirge, taking a stress focus. Dirge does a 1 bank to the right, bumping into Anakin, taking a stress focus. Plo does a 4k, committing Anakin to the chase. Jango does a 1 bank, but does not take a stress focus. Anakin goes 5 straight, then boosts to the right. Dirge gets destroyed by Jag, but the revive saves him as one-time effect, pilot ability, and he lives on 1 HP. Wolf loses 1 shield. Round 6 conclusion. I think the best move for Anakin would be 4k. A hard read by Cad Bane would be to do 2 hard, but that could have a high possibility of going off the board. And also, he can't perform 1 hard because he's stressed. Probably just going to do, I feel like 100% Cad Bane's going to be doing something like 1 bank. And if he does 1 bank towards the table, he dies no matter what. And he does 1 bank to the left, he stays in threat of the 4k. Could be argued that maybe Plo should have chased, considering he already has higher initiative and gets the free boosts and stuff. But still not bad running away from Jango. I feel like Wolf is still good for another shot. And he's only, once he kills Cad Bane or Dirge, the game is practically won. But it's always a tricky case seeing if Jango can get some initiative kills going. And a bit upsetting because I feel like Dirge possibly could have set up initiative kill versus Jag there. Took the shot anyways. But we have to see how the game plays out. Both players are within the center. Score is 13-9. Separatists win the initiative. Jag goes 1 straight and takes a focus. Cad Bane does 2 bank, clearing the stress and taking a focus. Wolf goes 1 bank and takes a target lock onto Dirge. Dirge does a 2 bank to the right, then takes a focus, stress boosting to the left. Plo does a 1 bank, clearing the stress, taking a focus. Jango does a 2 hard, then takes a target lock onto Jag. Anakin does a 2 Talon, spending a force, then takes a target lock onto Cad Bane, spending another force. The only damage taken was Django's 2 shields going down to only 6 hull, and Jag taking 2 damage going down to 3 hull. Round 7 conclusion. Let's think about the win conditions for this match. So I think Separatists can only play for the draw in reality. So what would that look like? That would look like Django killing Jag, Django killing Jag, being in the center, bringing up to 3 points, versus Republic's one, making it 14-14. And all Republic needs to do is either get 2 damage on Django for half points, or 1 damage on Cad for just straight destruction. Because we didn't do 4K, it's a bit more tricky now of how to catch this Cad. Because we're looking at 2 straight template go forward, or hell, just straight 5 straight focus for like 5 dice agility. Or we're looking at 2 barrels left using the 2 template into a hard. We'll have to see. Is Plo gonna go for Django, or are we gonna try and take out Cad? Let's see. Republic scores 1 point from the center. Separatists have half health Jag for 2 points and have the point from the center. Score is 14-12. Republic win the initiative. Cad Bane barrel rolls to the left in the system phase by decloaking, using the 2 straight template. Django drops a proton bomb behind him. Jag does a 2 hard to the left, taking a focus. Wolf does a 2 hard to the left, taking a focus. Cad Bane tries to do a 2 bank, but is blocked by Wolf, taking a stress focus. Plo does a 3 bank and overlaps on Cad, taking a focus, a stress focus. Dirge does a stressful 1 hard. Anakin does a 4 straight and takes an evade. Django does a 1 straight, then boosts to the left. Django does a 1 straight, then boosts to the left. Jag lives on 1 health. And Cad Bane gets destroyed by Plo. Shooting phase, round 8. Round 8 conclusion. So the real enemy of this play pattern is on the final round actually wasn't able to claim any objectives. But I think it was very unlucky that Cad Bane lost initiative. I mean, he was going to lose it eventually, right? But if he won initiative, I believe he would have been inside for the center. Possibly, I feel like he could have been inside in the center and not die to, and maybe Plo bumps into Wolf and scores a point for him. No, if he had seismic charges this game, possibly could have won via Jag dying. So he plays a seismic charge, Jag rolls a blank, and he would have got 3 successes. Although when he's shown, notice how Jag lives on 1 health with no crit applied. Once again, not using the Count Dooku force ability. But I also think Dirge just ran away this entire game, which is a bit sad. Especially, I think with the cloaks as well, you kind of have to sit there and pray for dice to happen just to get the center with no issues. But there you have it. That is the game. A bit of a mistake on my end. Separatist was in the center, I imagine via Django range 2 for 1 point. Republic scores 2 points for destroying the remainder of Cad Bane's health, and 1 point for the center. Score is 17-13. Republic wins.